Hi, what's up, guys? My name is Opeyemi from Lagos, Nigeria, and I'll be taking today's session on UI UX design and a workshop using Adobe Xd. So I'll first be briefing us on what UI UX is, what UI is, what UX is, how they relate to each other, and who a UI designer is and who a UX designer is. Then after that, we would be going into the design fundamentals. So we'll talk about the different kinds of design elements we have and the different types of principles we have in UI design. Then we will then enter into UI components of a website, components of a web application, UI components of a mobile app, how they can be designed and how they can be used before we then start our workshop, which would be designing a blog site using Adobe Xd. Okay, who am I? My name is Adeniran, like I earlier said. I'm a UI UX designer and a front-end engineer based in Lagos, Nigeria. I work for Alpha and Jam Nigeria. It's a media tech company based in Nigeria and Africa, Sub-Saharan Africa. They are into media tech. We build web applications that run on billboards. I also work remotely for some other companies. To know more about me, simply visit the link on the slide, opey.com. Let's get into it. What is UI design? What is UX design? The UI in the word UI design refers to user interface, while the UX in UX design means user experience. So when you talk about user interface, this has to do with the visuals of a product. When I say product, I mean softwares, solutions, or devices. So UI has to do with what the user is saying, what the user is relating with. Like for instance, a web application, the buttons, the text, the entry fields, and the rest of items the user interacts with has to do with the UI design. So as a UI designer, your role is to come up with um, to to come up with the interface. Like for instance, for you to select the colors for the site, for you to create the buttons, for you to decide on which fonts to use for the site or the application or the solution. So anything that has to do with UI has to do with visuals and appearance and animation. So the UX stands for user experience. A user experience in an app or for an app or for a solution is determined by how the user interacts with the product, the design the user had created. So it has to do with how smooth the user feels when using the product, or does it feel confused when using the solution? Does it feel easy? Does it feel smooth? That has to do with the user experience. So user experience is actually determined by how easy or difficult it is for user to interact with the user interface elements that the user designer had earlier created. So somebody once said UI is like the bridge you climb when you're getting to a final destination, while UX is the experience, the feeling you get after climbing the bridge. So we have different tools when it comes to designing and prototyping our designs. The first one is Sketch. Sketch is a Mac OS kind of software, which means it runs only on Mac OS. It can be used, it's usually used to design UI designs, and it has high prototyping capabilities. Then the next one is Adobe Xd. Adobe Experience Design is owned by Adobe. You can use it either on Mac or Windows. So you can either download it on your Windows system, or you can also download it on your Mac system. It also allows collaboration, allows you to share your prototype, allows you to prototype your designs, also allows you to create design system and components. Followed by Figma. Figma is different from the rest in the sense that it is a browser-based software, meaning you can run it on any browser, web browser, either um, Chrome, Mozilla Firefox, Safari, anyone. So all you need to just do is go to the website figma.com, create an account, then start designing. So it gives you a whole interface you would have gotten if you had downloaded the software right on the browser, and you can design. It also allows high collaboration with other designers. So you can collaborate with other designers where you guys can interact with each other, can share prototypes, get comments from prototypes. And the last one here is InVision Studio. It's also relating to the rest, but it has more animation skills and animation capabilities compared to the rest. Design fundamentals. Whenever it comes to design, the first and basic thing you need to understand is the design elements and the design principles. Elements are like the basic units of your design, meaning any design you are creating, all these basic elements comes together. Is either you singular use it or you combine it with other elements to form a good design. So the first one is line. What's the line? Line is like a mark on the surface, right? It is like the distance between 2 points. So it's like a mark between the distance between 2 points. So we have different kinds of line. We have the thick line in your design. We have the thin line. You have the dotted line. You have the zigzag. So all these lines, when you use it in your design, they are the elements of your design. So going next is color. All the design you see has to do with color. Either a monochrome design, meaning black and white kind of design, has two colors, black and white. You see, for instance, the Facebook site UI design has colors, the blue, the white, the black. All these colors also play an important role in your design. There are different forms of design, and each color, there are different form of color rather, and each color has its own like meaning to your design. For instance, you're designing an app for a baby. The decision to the color you make also play an important role in your products. You're designing an app for ladies. You would want to go for pink, right? Because pink, girls are more related to pink. You are trying to design a mobile app for a financial institute. Blue would want to come to your mind because blue has to do with more financial thingy. Then the next one is shape. For the shapes, we have the rectangle shape, the circle shape, the ellipse, the star. All these shapes can be used in your design. So each shape has its own properties, right? Like the shape size, the shape color, the shape stroke width, meaning the shape outline width and the rest. Now space is the the area in your design where elements are not interacting with each other in your design. Texture has to do with the coarseness of your design. Probably you're having a rough texture or a smooth texture in your design. Typography. This refers to the text in your design. So as a UI designer, you decide which font to use, which font size to use, which font weight to use. Meaning, do you want the font to be bold? Do you want it to be light? That has to do with your design element. Then going next is the design principles. The first is contrast. There are sometimes most of the complaints you get from your clients is the design is not popping up. They complain the design is not popping up, it's not flashy enough. What they are trying to tell you is there is no enough contrast in the design. Contrast has to do with how flashy the design is or how bright the design is. Balance. All these elements I mentioned earlier as what we call visual weights. For instance, if you place an image in a design and you place a text in the design, the image has higher weight in terms of the user seeing the design compared to user seeing the image compared to the text. So you should have a way of balancing your design elements in your design. So you have to like get aware of the design weights of different elements you're using in your design and create a balance in between them. Emphasis. There's sometimes you want to pay attention or you want to get the attention of your user to some particular element of your design or a particular side of your design. For instance, you visit a site or you see a blog post. So emphasis is usually laid on the title of the post because they want to get your attention to the title of the post. So that's when they now get to use a iPhone size for the title of the post, thick weight. Then the other elements which are having less emphasis, they use smaller font size, they make it small, they don't use brighter color. So that has to do with emphasis in your design, which is among the design principle. Then proportion has to do with the sizes of your design elements in relation to each other. So if you have a rectangle shape that is about 50 pixels, then and you want to create lighter version of the rectangle, you should have a way and you should have a ratio of reducing the size of your rectangle so they can relate to each other. Repetition is either you repeat colors in your design, you repeat shapes in your design, you repeat pattern in your design, you repeat fonts in your design. So that has to do with repetition for the design principle. Okay, white space finally. Like I said earlier, space has to do with the area in your design where different elements are not interacting with each other. So a good design has to create breathing space for your design elements, so you don't get to like put your design choking your designs together. You have to like create space between different elements. So that's to do with white space in your design. So we have different UI components. UI components are like um, things you see on your site, things you see on your mobile app. User interface component has to do with all these elements, creating all these little things you see on your site or you see on your mobile app. For instance, now the first one, button. When you visit, most of the UI products you see as button. So these are like the basic elements that comes together to form a whole structured solution or a structured product or a website. So a button is usually rectangular in shape, then you have a text in between it, which serves as the label of the text, label of the button rather. So a button has color, also has other properties like color, animation, gradient fill, which is also another color, stroke. Stroke. Whenever I say stroke, it has to do with the outline of the button. So going further is loader. Most designer use like get fun with loader. They can either use image as a loader, they can use SVG as loader, icon as loaders, and most loaders are usually animated where they are in motion. They give a user a feeling that something is actually going on underground and they have to be patient about it. Then card. You know the way the regular card is, for instance, the poker card. That's the same way this card is in UI design, but in a card is a rectangle, then the border radius is either high or low. So meaning is either very curvy or sharp edge. Then a card can house other elements inside. It's probably a list of items or used to show visual data visualization, for instance, charts and the rest. Or you can use a card when you're designing a blog post. The next one is tooltip. Tooltip is used to give information about a particular element in your design. For instance, I have an icon, an information icon. So as a user, I move my mouse to the icon and I get a pop-up on the icon. That's called tooltip. Another one is pop-up where I need to click it, then it comes up. The difference between pop-up and tooltip is tooltip comes up automatically when a user hovers on the element, or why pop-up is when the user click on the elements, then it shows up, like it pops up. So tooltip is usually rectangular in size, arrow depicting the elements is referring to, then all that information inside the rectangle. Then hamburger is also like the regular hamburger we all know about, like it has layers, but in this sense we represent the hamburger in our design using a rectangle, three rectangles laid on each other. So it's usually used in mobile apps where you have other elements that collapse on that particular element. So when the user clicks on it, it's expecting to get more information, like a drop down. Then input field. Input field gives the user a sense that is going to like type in something inside it. An input field usually rectangle in size and has a label which is a text. So an input field usually have different states. One, the state is default state, meaning nothing is happening. The second one is active state, where a user had clicked on it. How would it be? What would the color change? Would the stroke, would the outline color change? And also the last state is disable. Disable in the sense that where user cannot like input new text characters inside the field. Okay, lastly is form and tags. Form is a composite component where it houses different other elements inside it. One, it houses the form title, which is a typography. It also houses the input field, like I mentioned earlier. Also houses the button. It allows users to put in information to send to the site. Then tags. So sometimes you visit the WordPress site and you are searching for technology news. So if you search for technology news, for instance, and at the end of the single blog post, you see different tags. So tags are usually in a rectangle, small rectangle, then you have text in between them. So they're usually in stacks. They show they like give information like a summary or the theme about a particular post you are reading about. So when you combine all these design elements, when you combine all these principles together, you can use them to design what we call design system. A design system is used when you create different components of your designs. For instance, you design a component for button, you design components for input field, design components for your typographies, your paragraphs. So when you design all these components and bring them together, they are called design system, meaning you can reuse them in other parts of your pages. So when you use a good design system, it creates consistency in your design. So if, for instance, page one, you're using a blue button, and you're using a red button, which is from your design component. So in page two, you're expected to use that same button. So if you keep repeating all these design elements in your pages, it creates consistency. So this is an example of design system, which is the Netflix design system. Their button, their font size, their theme, their colors are consistent in other pages. Okay, let's dive into the workshop. So to get started, I'll be using Adobe Experience Design. For you to get it on your system, just simply visit the Adobe website /sd.html. Then you can download it. Either you're using a Windows system or a Mac system. But I already have it here, so I'll just open it. So you are designing a blog site for a website. So I'll be selecting the web frame to 1280 to 800. So I simply click it, then it opens up a new page for me. So this is the interface of the Adobe Experience Design. So to the left is, extreme left is the tool set I'll be using. Then here it has to do with my assets. So I currently have my layers panel 2 and my extension plugins. So to the right is my inspector panel. So but this is very dynamic. It has to do with the tool I click. So any tool I click determines the interface of the inspector panel. So I click on it and I draw a rectangle. I see the different um, properties of the rectangle. So but you'll be designing a blog site here. So the first thing I do is I name my artboard. So I name it blog site, and I need a brand identity, so I can just name it Arc Quarantine. So this is just a simple identity logo. Now the site you use, Gilroy. Let's use Gilroy bold. So let me just quickly so to change the font, simply go by the right thing, change the font. So I need a simple icon. I select the rectangle tool, draw it, then I can either manually increase the border radius from here, or I just increase it from here. So I rotate. Which color should we use? How about we use a blue, and to duplicate is Ctrl D, and a red. Okay, this works. And we have our logo ready, so I can align it with the text. I highlight the two, then align horizontally. To group, you highlight, then you either right click, then group, or you just simply press Ctrl G. I'll need this to be 100% black. Okay, so most websites, most front-end guys, they usually work with grid. So the grid also works here in the Adobe Xd. I simply click on the grid and I see a grid of 12, usually 12. So this would guide me in arranging my elements here. So I can create a nav bar from here. Simply go to the rectangle, then draw the nav bar. Okay, to align it to the back, because it's currently over the logo, I simply click on it, then right click, send to back. Then I need to align this with the rectangle vertically. I select the logo, hold shift, select the rectangle, then align middle. Yeah, so I don't need the current stroke, so I can simply remove it. Then how about we add a little drop shadow? Okay, then we have that. So let's add an navbar item to the right side. So we'll be having home, and I want the font to be medium, and I want the font size to be about 14 pixels. So I align it horizontally here. Okay, to just change everything to capital letters, simply just come to the text panel, then uppercase. How about we increase the letter spacing to about 50? How about 100? Okay, that works. So duplicate the links to have more links item. So I'll be having blog posts. I'll be having my profile. Then I'll also be having my icons at the right hand side. So I currently need Facebook icon, probably Instagram icon. I currently have it on my system, so I just bring it in. So to download your own custom icons or to download the regular icons, just simply visit flaticon.com and you get to download different icons of your choice. So also need the Instagram icon as SVG. Okay, this works. So I currently have my icons, so I arrange them to where I want them to be. Okay. So to move around your board, you simply hold the space bar, then you click drag. But I'm currently using the Mac system, so I'm using the trackpad with two fingers to ease the movement of the board. Okay, let's align it. Okay, so now to create equal spacing between everything here, I simply select everything by holding shift, clicking, then I distribute it horizontally. So I can increase the spacing between them. Same thing, multiple select by holding shift, then distribute horizontally. So I can group it by clicking Ctrl G or right clicking, then group, align it to the right side of the grid system. I also need to align it middle to the rectangle. So now we currently have our nav bar, so it remains for us to create the inner part of our block site. So going next now, the next thing we need to do is the inner page of our blog site. So next you'll be needing a large image here. Probably this might be the most recent or the most popular blog we have. So this is going to be our placeholder for the image by clicking the rectangle tool here, then drawing the rectangle here. So inside our post here, we would be having a title. So you can have a title of, probably let's say, what do you wear to work? Okay, so you can say 5 designers share their work, share their real life looks. Okay, so you currently have our text, so you can simply increase the font size of your text manually from here by changing the value or using this middle dot, then dragging. So I want my heading to be bold, remember emphasis. So I select a bold font, Gilroy heavy. Okay, this works. And I change the letter spacing to 0. So I currently have this, and I can get to resize it by coming to the right side and clicking the area text. So this allows me to create a responsive adjustment of my text. So to reduce the line height, go to the right, then you can reduce the line spacing there. So I have this. I also need remember tags in the UI components. I can name this tag of lifestyle. Then this doesn't necessarily need to be a bold font, it can be medium. Then can put it here. Remember tags is a what? Is a rectangle, usually a rectangle, then the text in between. So you draw your rectangle from the left side, then you align it in beside the rectangle by moving it. So to add border radius to my rectangle, tag rectangle, I either automatically drag here or I go to the right hand side and reduce the value or increase the value. So I change this to white, black works too. Okay, so then we have our tag there. So the next thing I want to do now is have the author, date, and comment. So I can have the author here, I name it by Opeyemi, left side, then I duplicate it, Ctrl D, author, date, what's today's date? Let's say April 4th, 2020. Remember aligning, then I duplicate it again, probably will say 20 comments. So to multiple selects, remember you hold the shift, then you click. Then you change the color from the right hand side, probably we change it to white. And now we need an image for this side. I can download stock images from Unsplash. So let's look for a good photo to use from here. Okay, this works. Okay, we download it and we import it in our Adobe Xd. Download for free. So we show in Finder. Then we can either drag it to our Adobe Xd workspace, or we copy and paste. So to drag it in, you locate where you downloaded the picture. I go to my downloads, then I have my image here. I drag it to the screen, then I drop. Automatically it's meant to serve as a, okay, now we have that, and we have our image at the background. So right now my rectangle is currently having a border of gray, which I don't need. So to remove it, simply go to the right side and this uncheck the border section, and it goes away. So I need to change this text here to white, and I have this. So to make this section more visible, what I can do is create a black overlay over this image. So to do this, you go to the rectangle, then you draw a rectangle over the initial rectangle, over it, and give it a fill of gradient. So you click on the fill, come to this drop down, click on linear gradient. So it creates a gradient fields where you can change the color of the bottom to black, and the top is currently white. So all I need to do is, for the top color that is white, I need to reduce the opacity to 0. So right now the overlay is currently over the text, so I need to send it to the back. To do this, right click, then you send backward, or more, you can just simply go to your layer panel, which is on your left side, then you identify the rectangle and you drag it down till yeah, okay. So right now it's currently over my image, so I just drag it up and I'm fine with that. So right now I have my first blog post with my blog image, my blog tag, my blog title, the author, the date, and the numbers of comments. So to extend our canvas size, I simply click on my canvas on my artboard, then I drag it down. So this is expected to be a carousel. Carousel are more like a slides in your site. So I need an arrow here, I need an arrow here. So to do this, let's see, to download an arrow from feather icons. Okay, so right now we need the left side arrow and the right side arrow. So you can just simply download one arrow, then we flip it against each other. Search for arrow, still loading. Okay, we have our left arrow, we download, and it downloads to our download folder. So I can copy it. I can copy it and paste to my artboard, and so it's in SD right now, so meaning I can change the color, I can change the border size and other properties of it. So I have it at my left hand side and I align it vertically to the image. So to do this, you click on the arrow, hold shift, click on the image, then you align middle, so it aligns it to the middle for you. So I need to duplicate it to the other side, so I just remember Ctrl D, or you drag, hold Alt, then it duplicates for you. So to flip this arrow to the other side, Simply go to your left hand side, then you see mirror, flip horizontally, then you flip it. So to be sure it's currently aligned, hold shift, hold the rest, hold shift, then click on the two arrows, then you align middle, then you're good to go. So to create the other side of our blog posts, I would need about 4 grids of blog posts here. Remember to divide my page equally. I use my grid, which is on my inspector panel at the right side. I click on grid. So to create a 4 grid, I need to simply share this to 3. So that'll be 1, 2, 3, 4. So right now I need a title, which is black. So I can name this probably recent blog. How about we make this title case? Go to my text panel, click on title case. So you have this as recent post. So our post is going to be having an image and author, title, then date. So to do this, we create a placeholder for an image. Then we have a duplicate this text, change the color to black. So we can give this as the label for our post. So you can give this style design. So align it to the left. So remember, a good principle design is alignment. So just make sure the designs are aligned properly well. So I can reduce the font size to, remember, visual hierarchy. Then the emphasis I need here is to be given to the heading, so which means the heading is going to be having a higher font size and a high font width. So I'll be giving this title, let's say, the 10 most spectacular things to do. So I can give this font width of bold, heavy. Okay, this works. And I also need to increase the font size. 20 works. And area text can be used to create responsive distribution of our text. So right now I have my label, I have my title. So the next thing I need is the author, date, and comments. So I duplicate this. Author can be by okay, date should come first. April 1st. How about April 3rd? April 3rd, 2020. So I have this here. So this has lesser emphasis, so I can just give it a text color of gray. Then I duplicate it. Remember, Ctrl D to duplicate. Then I add the comments. Probably it has 32 comments. So this comes down. Then I have, okay, one more thing. I also need the author. So let's say by Will. This should be title case and color black. So this should come down by Will. Let's see, by Will Samson. So right now I currently have my first grid of posts. So one thing I can do is either manually duplicate this or automatically duplicate this. So to automatically duplicate this, I use what we call the repeat grid. Repeat grid in Adobe Xd allows you to repeat a particular element and maintain the consistent properties of the design of the element. So to do this, you simply click Ctrl R, then it shows you these two options. So you drag towards the right side because I want more elements to the right hand side. Then I can reduce the spacing. Yeah. Okay, so right now I currently have a grid of 4 columns. So what I can do now is change the text inside it, then later update the images. To change the text, you simply double click the text you want to change and you type. So how about the 2020 gift guide for the ad to stop crowd. Okay, so this is just a random blog title. What should we give title this? Okay, the Lagos, Nigeria way of life. The 9 skills I learned while 7. Okay, so right now I currently have 4 grids of column. So what I can do is change the images of my grid. So I can download um, I currently need 4 images, so I can download 4 images from this site. So how about we do right click save image. So I'm going to currently save it to my desktop. I name this as img1. Okay, second one I name it as img2. Third one I name it as img3. And the last one, which is okay, which should I choose? Okay, let me choose this one, img4. So I currently have my 4 images. So I go back to my Adobe Xd, I locate where the images are. They are currently on my desktop. Clean up. So I downloaded 2 images. So let me download this and replace it with img1. So I currently have my 4 images. Let's clean up. Still downloading. Okay. So I multiple select my images, which is 4. Then I drag it into my artboard where I have my rectangles. Now automatically it fills in all the image space. Right now my image placeholder is currently having a placeholder of it's currently having a border of 1 pixel. To remove this, I click on the rectangle, then go to my right hand side and uncheck the border fill. Then I have my 4 grids of recent blog posts. So how about we add another section of recent videos? So same thing we did here is what we are going to do next. So I duplicate the heading. Remember consistency, same font size, same font size for your heading. So I can't come here and use a lesser font size heading, and I come here and use another font size heading. So you have to try to keep your design elements consistent. So I give these recent videos. Okay, this should be a slider, and for me to give a a filling is a slider, I can create series of dots here, so it tells the user, okay, I can actually slide through this section. To do this, I click on the ellipse tool on my tool panel, then I draw a circle of equal width and height. So I give it a state of a color of gray to give it a state of inactive. Then to duplicate it, remember what I did for the blog post here, you Control R to repeat grid, then you draw towards the right hand side. Then I have more of it. So I can ungroup the grid to change the color of probably the first one to black. So this is going to give a sense of active while the rest are currently inactive. So I need to centralize it in my artboard screen. I highlight everything, I right click, then you group, then you centralize. Okay, it's in the center. So the next part is recent videos. So for the recent videos, I also have a grid. Okay, I need to know where my grid will be stopping. I double click on my artboard and select the grid layout. So I click on the rectangle to same thing, you draw your rectangle. Okay, I draw my rectangle and it's a video, so I need to give a feeling that it can actually be played. So I can add my play button here, draw your ellipse tool, and I need a play button. So you can download a play button from, let's see, either from feather icon, or simply go to flaticon.com. Then you can download any icon you want for your design in SVG format, meaning you can get to edit them after downloading on your site, on your design. Okay, I currently have my play icon. I don't need a border, I need it a fill. It's currently transparent, so for me to change that, I need to like increase the opacity level to 100% and change the color to white. Then like, let me change this rectangle to something gray. Okay, then my circle, remove the border, white, then reduce the opacity. So to centralize the play icon and the circle together, simply drag it, then you see the option, or you multiple select it, to hold shift, then click on the circle, align, align, and you are good to go. So to zoom in is Control plus, Control minus, and for the Mac users it's Command plus, Command minus. So I currently have a placeholder for my video. So to repeat this, I highlight it, I group, Control G, then I repeat the grid by clicking Control R. Then you drag it towards your right hand side. Okay, to confirm the spacing in between this, for consistency, I double click on my artboard, check the grid, and my spacing is not consistent, so I need to like reduce the spacing to work with the grid. Then I drag it. Okay, now we have that. So I need to remove the grid lines, it's kind of disturbing me, so I disable it for now. I need to add images to my videos. I can use the same images I use. I drag the 4 images into my video placeholder, and I have my videos. Okay, let's work on the footer now. So on my footer, I should be having series of links and an option for my users to subscribe to my channel. Okay, I create a rectangle. Okay, and remember consistency. I don't want to use a color different for my site. I can come here and use the blue color for my footer. I don't need a border for now. So I need to duplicate this heading, Control D, then subscribe to my newsletter. So right now is behind the rectangle. So what I can do is right click, then what, bring to front. So it's at the front, I give it color white so it can show on the blue background. So I centralize it on the board, click, then centralize. So right now I need to create an input field for my user to input in their email address. For me to do this, I use the rectangle and I remove the border. Then I need a placeholder, which is a text. Then I can put in enter email address. So I move it and centralize it in between the rectangle, and I also need a button. So I duplicate the rectangle. For the button, I can use the color, other color, and give it a feel of red. Let's see if that works. Okay, not bad. I also need a text for my button and I give it submit. So the color here doesn't work now. I can give it color white. This works. Let's increase the size of the button and centralize this. So I can multiple select my input field to the center. So I click on the input field element. I group them by right clicking, group, then centralize it to your board. So after this, then I can put in my footer. We can create demarcation here by duplicating the rectangle and using a deeper shade of our blue. Okay, this works. Then I will need my logo at my footer, so I duplicate it, Ctrl D, duplicating. Then I will need to align it to the left of my grid. Okay, everything should be color white. So let's align it vertically to the rectangle. Multiple select, hold shift, click on the logo, click on the rectangle, like that. We would be needing a copyright text. I want to duplicate the text there. Then let's put copyright. "2020 arc quarantine." And I can change the color to white. Then I can align it to the right hand side of my design. Also align it to the middle. And I have my landing page for my blog post. Okay, let's view it.